Nick Fleming RVGCR Intel Update. Bruce, the big call, via Wiser now, we're hearing from our treasury sources that we get notified and/or exchange Thursday or Friday of this week. That's from a very strong treasury source. We did hear that there was a conference call with redemption center leaders. It was enough to say they are preparing for us to exchange either Thursday or Friday of this week. I'm told that we will have all new rates on the screens Thursday. That tells us maybe that is our start. At this point, rates are sort of a secondary thing. We've got great rates. I'm very excited about possibility of us going this week. Marks, Zaidi expected to make progress tomorrow on seating his government. CBI accelerates changes. Tom question, can you explain the connection of the Clarity Act/crypto passing in the RV? How are they tied? Because when currencies like the IQD revalue, that wealth has to move somewhere fast. A lot of people in this community plan to move a significant portion into XRP and other ISO 20022 compliant assets. Without regulatory clarity, exchanges can freeze accounts, flag transactions, or outright block large crypto purchases. The RV and crypto legislation aren't directly linked by design, but they're converging at the same moment for a reason. The rails are being built, the laws are being written, and the currencies are being positioned. All at the same time. That's not a coincidence. Question, should we sell at the bank as soon as the RV happens? Is there guaranteed to be an increase in dinar value at RV? How do I know it's not going up more, and should wait to exchange it? There are no guarantees on anything. And I don't think there will be a float. And I am going on day one if I am able. Question, will the 3 zeros be taken off the bills out of country? In other words, 2.9 million in notes becomes 2,900 times 3. That's nothing. I paid almost that much. The new IQD will have 3 less zeros. The CBI will announce a new rate and people will exchange their dinar notes. Here in the US, we will be exchanging for USD, not IQD, so this shouldn't matter to us. Stephen, dinar for dummies. If you hold the Iraqi dinar, you are a very small select spirit-led group of people. I don't know what's coming. There's a lot of prophecies or a lot of opinions that we're going to enter very hard times in the near future. I don't know if or when that's going to happen, but I do believe this, Iraqi dinar RV, is going to create a lot of provision and abundance for a certain amount of people to get prepared. I believe the Iraqi dinar is not an end-all be-all investment. It is going to be the first investment to happen, and it's going to allow you to invest into other assets that's going to be able to greatly multiply your initial seed money that you get from this. Claire, KTFA, article, Al-Zaidi's government wins the confidence of the House of Representatives and takes the constitutional oath. Article 2, the Iraqi parliament grants confidence to Al-Zaidi's government and votes on 14 ministers. Article, when will dollar shipments arrive in Baghdad? Washington ignores the central bank, while Al-Zaidi prioritizes it. Quote, Iraqi authorities are trying to find out the reasons for the delay in the latest shipments, but the central bank has not yet received any response from the American side. 100+ trillion dinar physically outside of Iraq, the central bank doesn't give two craps about it pertaining to the rate change. Here's its purpose. Basel III states countries can use foreign currencies to asset-back their own country's currency. The United States has half of Iraq's money supply, along with all the dinar that we the people have. Once we go to exchange with our banks will turn around and give all that dinar back to the U.S. Treasury. The United States is going to use all that physical dinar, the old 3-0 notes, to asset-back the United States dollar because it's a Basel III compliance step. All the dinar outside of Iraq will be used for countries to asset-back their own country's currency. They're about to revalue, jump into the international world, expand local domestic trade, all that. Getting everything ramped up, jumping into more of a digital era banking reform. They're jumping out into a brand new world. Militiaman, take a picture of all these little articles that come out in the last 3 days and you put it all together and it's like, whoa. Iraq is integrating into the global financial system. This is a really powerful time for what we're witnessing. Everybody is like, how long is it going to take? When's this going to take place? They're not going to tell you the time or date. And they shouldn't. And they won't. They give us indicators of what's taking place. We haven't seen convergences like this in the history that I've been in. It's an evolution that's been taking place. It's been growing. Pimpy, this new prime minister, it's interesting because he's an outsider. He's away from politics. He has no political experience whatsoever. The one thing I like about this new Prime Minister is the fact this man has, not just banking experience, but he has investment banking experience, which can go a long ways in helping Iraq with what they're trying to accomplish in reforms in the banking industry and in return help strengthen the Iraqi dinar. Frank 26, KTFA, you cannot be included into the global financial system at a sanctioned program rate. Mountain Goat, article, warnings against ministers of failure. A day calls on LZD to confront the pressures of the blocs and appoint competent individuals to ministerial positions. Yes, they are always filling these high-paying government jobs as favoritism rather than real skill to do a competent job. Is this also why we sit here over 20 years still waiting for the RV? We are about to see it again with Nouri al-Maliki getting either a vice presidential position or even now he wants the Minister of Oil, a Zaidi's cabinet position. Did he horse trade his vote to let in al-Zaidi for this? The Illuminati deep state's control over our money, lives and future has been going on for a very long time using their adept knowledge and application of mind control techniques through homage to Satan. Now Julian Assange takes it a step further as he explains the silent manipulation of digital history, warning that centralized internet archives now possess the power to erase, alter, and control humanity's collective memory in ways most people never imagined possible. Thursday, May 14, 2026, Bombshell Report. This is incredibly important information being exposed by Julian Assange. President Trump and the global military alliance were doing something about it. In the greatest sting operation ever, military units have mobilized worldwide for a coordinated strike to destroy the globalist power structure. Normal communication will soon cease for 10 to 12 days during a global blackout and emergency broadcast system, EBS, activation. The EBS has reported that at Saturday midnight, May 16, 2026 over cell phones worldwide, the EBS would be signaling the beginning of the end of the deep state's control over our money, lives and future. The greatest wealth transfer in human history was underway, with Commander-in-Chief of the Global Military Alliance Donald Trump activating the Nizara and Jazara laws. In making those laws, both the U.S. Supreme Court and World Court had determined that since at least 1913, the Illuminati deep state cabal had been stealing U.S. and world citizens' monies. Both courts ordered that all such monies be returned to the people through implementation of the Nizara law, U.S., and Jazara law, global. To do that, Trump was dismantling the old corrupt financial system, and working with the BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, to reset the value of global currencies to be gold/asset-backed that are one-to-one with each other. Trillions in stolen wealth had already been returned to the U.S. Treasury, as well as other nations' treasuries around the world. The new gold-backed quantum financial system set up by the BRICS Nations Alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, was replacing the fiat nightmare that has enslaved humanity for generations. Legacy ATM networks were being physically decommissioned. Only quantum financial system, QFS, terminals would remain that dispensed only QFS gold bills. As head of the Global Military Alliance, Trump has been busy ordering investigations, grand jury trials and mass arrests of Satan-worshipping, pedophile deep state elites since he entered office in 2016. Now there was evidence in the just exposed Guantanamo files that proved the following deep state elites had undergone military tribunals and were hanged at Gitmo between November 2025 and March 2026. November 2025, Hillary Clinton was convicted and hanged for running an international spy network and the Clinton Foundation, which was a front for child sex trafficking and pay-to-play schemes. Final months of 2025, James Comey, John Brennan and other intelligence operatives for running the Russia hoax, organizing January 6 setups and attempts to entrap Trump loyalists. December 2025, Anthony Fauci for engineering the pandemic and deadly experimental protocols that targeted millions of patriots. Early 2026, Bill Gates for his global depopulation agenda funded through foundations that pushed harmful vaccines and control mechanisms. February 2026, Barack Obama convicted for orchestrating unconstitutional surveillance on the Trump campaign and had ties to anti-American forces that fueled domestic chaos and foreign interference. February 2026, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell convicted of insider trading and blocking reforms that would have protected the republic from deep state infiltration. March 2026, Joe Biden for overwhelming proof of his role in the stolen election and family dealings that enriched him at the expense of American sovereignty. March 2026, Kamala Harris for complicity in open border disasters and weaponizing agencies against Trump supporters. March 2026, George Soros for his subversion, network of NGOs that destabilized nations, funding of color revolutions against freedom-loving leaders and financing of riots. A Judy note, the above global elites worship Satan through the tortuous mind control and murder of children and human sacrifice rites. Below is one of a series of articles I wrote back in 2023 about the tortuous CIA mind control done to children, and paid for out of our own U.S. taxpayer dollars through the CIA's unending black budget. The CIA satanic ritual abuse torture program born in Hitler's Germany, began in the U.S., Canada and Australia after World War II. Back in the 1970s there were congressional hearings exposing the CIA's horrendous and unspeakable crimes done to thousands of innocent children including torture, rape and murder. This MKUltra mind control program based on Satan worship was believed to still be going on today. Thursday, May 14, 2026. MKUltra never ended. Credible sources include medical doctors, scientists, professors, and attorneys. Some of the links in the article may have been erased from the internet. The CIA has been very busy and adept at covering up their crimes. Friday, November 10, 2023, CIA torturing, killing children in mind control experiments, Part 3. According to survivors of the CIA mind control program MKUltra, the head of the torture-based experiments from the early beginnings until 1984 was a Nazi brainwashing expert known as Dr. Green, a Jewish turncoat from a Nazi concentration camp born around 1926. The sadistic Green was one of 760 German experts granted U.S. citizenship after being brought into the U.S. after World War II under the CIA Project Paperclip. Among CIA Nazi mind control experts was Otto von Bolschwing, an associate of Adolf Eichmann who helped develop initial plans to purge Germany of the Jews. He later worked for the CIA in the U.S. 3 mind control survivors who were tortured by Dr. Green testified before a 1995 congressional committee that to their knowledge and until at least 1984, the CIA mind control program was funding Dr. Green to run their mind control program. According to statements of Dr. Green made in front of the survivors and reports filed in his office addressed to the CIA, military personnel, CIA Science Division, CIA Office of Research Development and Army Chemical Center, at least $80 million was given Dr. Green to run the CIA mind control program. Dr. Green was trained in mind control experimentation in German concentration camps according to Colin A. Ross, MD in the foreword to the biography of mind control survivor Jenny Hill, 22 Faces. Ross said, according to many patients with similar memories, as with Hill's human sacrifice ritual, Green is a German mind control specialist who came to the United States after World War II. Psychiatrist Ross, MD, is author of Bluebird, a much-quoted book about the CIA mind control program. He is founder of the Colin A. Ross Institute that treats ritual abuse survivors in Michigan, California and Texas and has authored 17 books on dissociation, multiple personalities, and the CIA government mind control program using records obtained from the Freedom of Information Act. Dr. Ross is former president of the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation, ISTD, and has been both an expert witness and a defendant in lawsuits brought by false memory proponents on therapists treating mind control survivors. Therapist Valerie Wolf testified before a 1995 congressional committee that Dr. Green was an employee of the Army Chemical Center over radiation experiments on children. In a March 15, 1995 U.S. congressional hearing of the President's Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiments MKUltra victim testimony, Valerie Wolf, a therapist and MKUltra victim, testified that some survivors say that an employee of the Army Chemical Center, a Dr. Green, one survivor named him as Al Wilson Green, was over the radiation experiments. In a March 15, 1995 U.S. congressional hearing of the President's Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiments, MKUltra victim B. Christine Nicola, age 32, testified that during her mind control, 1966 to 1976, ages 4 to 14 she was subjected to radiation, drugs, electrodes, sexual abuse and other mind control experiments performed by a Dr. Green. She was kept tied in a cage by Dr. Green's office, but sometimes escaped and read reports of Dr. Green addressed to the CIA and military personnel. In a March 15, 1995 U.S. congressional hearing of the President's Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiments, MKUltra victim C, age 45, testified that she was in CIA mind control experiments 1957 to 1984, ages 7 to 24. A.L. Wilson Green was over the X-ray experiments, and he was given $80 million to run the program with CIA Science Division CIA Office of Research Development. She stated that Green said he used female children because it was fun, cheaper, lower profile, and I like scaring them. Dr. Green was said to mind control 75% of the clients studied by Ph.D. Corydon Hammond in his 8-year study of ISHTD clients, 1983 to 1991. As reported in his June 25, 1992 The Greenbaum speech at the 4th Annual Eastern Regional Conference on Abuse and Multiple Personality Disorder sponsored by the Psychiatric Institute of Washington, D.C. In the 2007 Extreme Abuse Survey, 154 extreme abuse survivors say that a Dr. Green was their abuser. Over half of the respondents were born after 1964, when the CIA mind control program was supposedly closed. Mind control survivor Jenny Hill claims that in 1965 a person defined as Dr. Green directed a group of satanic ritual abuse perpetrators to torture her and another 6-year-old, Kathleen Shea, whom they murdered. Dr. Green was described by Jenny Hill in her biography 22 Faces in the same way as Dr. Green was depicted in Corydon Hammond's client study of 18 ISHTD therapists, a man with short, balding brown hair, walked with a cane and limp in his left leg and bore a German accent. 1961 Project MKUltra, is the CIA writing mistruths in their records. The records on Subproject 94, part of Project MKUltra, dated November 22, 1961, describe the purpose of brain implants. Miniaturized stimulating electrode implants in specific brain center areas will be utilized, to provide an understanding of the mechanisms involved in the directional control of animals. Prior to 1962, children used as human guinea pigs at DC Children's Center. Retarded children at DC Children's Center in Laurel in a section called the District Training School were used as human guinea pigs for both private industry and the government. Among the experiments, was the testing of neobazine, a diet pill commonly referred to as rainbow pills. They contained thyroxine, which caused tremors, nervousness, insomnia, and tachycardia. It was being tested for its safety and efficiency. In October 1964 the FDA found that the drug was not safe for use. 1962 Children at DC Children's Center used to test diseases. The children at DC Children's Center were again used to test a drug for skin diseases, which doctors strongly suspected caused serious side effects to the human liver. More than half the children tested suffered some liver dysfunction. 8 were admitted to DC General Hospital for intensive care. 1962 Laurel Center children injected with radioactive iodine. In 1962, 17 Laurel Center children were used to study thyroid hormone metabolism in children. The children were injected with thyroxine mixed with radioactive iodine to aid doctors in tracing a body process. July 26, 1963 Memorandum from CIA Inspector General to Director of CIA to Director of Central Intelligence. The concepts involved in manipulating behavior are found by many people both within and outside the agency, CIA, to be distasteful and unethical. Nevertheless, there have been major accomplishments both in research and operational employment. Over the 10-year life of the program, many additional avenues to the control of human behavior have been designated under the MKUltra Charter, including radiation, electroshock, and harassment substances. Some activities raise questions of legality implicit in the original charter. A final phase of the testing places the rights and interests of U.S. citizens in jeopardy. Technical Services Division initiated a program for covert testing of materials on unwitting U.S. citizens in 1955. TSD has pursued a philosophy of minimum documentation in keeping with the high sensitivity of the projects. Some files contained little or no data at all. There are just 2 individuals in TSD who have full knowledge of the MKUltra program. 1964, due to pressure from Congress, the CIA MKUltra mind control program technically ended in 1964, while the CIA's MK research continued into the 1970s. Dr. William Sweet participated in both brain electrode implant experiments and the injection of uranium into medical patients at Harvard University. Army doctors were involved in LSD testing at least until the late 1970s. Subjects of LSD experiments included children as young as 5 years old, and brain electrodes were implanted in children as young as 11 years of age. 1965 Dr. Green was still mind-controlling/torturing/murdering children in 1965. According to the biography, 22 Faces 6-year-old Hill had been mind-controlled from age 4 using satanic ritual abuse under the direction of Dr. Green. His Green programming involved the torture and murder of 6-year-old Kathleen Shea on June 21, 1965. Hill discussed her reaction in this video. 1967 The CIA mind control program was supposedly curtailed by the U.S. Congress. 1970s MKUltra revealed during congressional hearings. These are links to documents from the CIA's formerly top-secret MKUltra program, which conducted what CIA Director Allen Dulles characterized as ultra-sensitive research in behavioral modification and assassination studies from the 1950s to the 1970s. In 1973, after hearing that Congress decided to look into the matter, CIA Director Helms ordered all MKUltra records destroyed and the CIA mind control program was supposedly permanently halted, although a multitude of satanic ritual abuse survivors claim it is still going on today. See, what we thought we knew, but didn't really know and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies Hollywood style and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Thursday, May 14, 2026 Rep. Luna, the Butler assassination attempt against President Trump had all the trademarks of an inside job by the intelligence community, intentional negligence. Secret Service whistleblowers told me they were told to stand down, leaving open the perfect location to take the shot. Biden admin gave limited staff that day. We still don't have access to his burner phones. Safeguard on Telegram. Why did the deep state have Gaddafi killed? Because he knew the key to their wealth. He said before he died, there will be many viruses in the future. They create a virus and spread it around the world so capitalistic companies can make massive profits, off selling the vaccine. Thursday, May 14, 2026 President Trump's visit to China was said to be the beginning of history and represented that the Chinese Communist Party was done, deep state gone from China, two nations making big moves that will last forever, Ezra Cohen on Telegram. The reason for Putin's so-called invasion of Ukraine has been found to be very different from what has been reported in the mainstream media. Putin's adrenochrome task force busted an Israeli child trafficking network centered in Ukraine on property owned by Joe Biden. The property also contained U.S.-run bioweapon labs where children were experimented on. The Russian forces have rescued thousands of severely abused children, though found even more dead children's abused bodies. Wednesday, April 6, 2022. Thousands of children rescued, mutilated bodies recovered, from Biden-owned Ukraine property containing U.S.-run bioweapon labs. Thursday, May 14, 2026 The deep state cabal's BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has declared a preemptive war against American citizens who fight back against his precious AI data centers. BlackRock will control nearly all of the AI data centers being built across the United States. Judy note my question is obvious, why is the cabal being allowed to build and control data centers across the U.S. that will be collecting personal data on all Americans? Thousands of citizens here in Utah formally objected to one being built here and the project was still going through anyway. We had no say whatsoever. Thursday, May 14, 2026 The World Health Organization, which Trump recently withdrew from, has held enormous influence over policy, funding, and public behavior, yet they're largely unelected, shielded from direct accountability, and deeply intertwined with governments, corporations, and pharmaceutical interests. Mr. Poole 2.0 on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026 The Trump admin has halted issuing licenses for all new hospice centers and home health care facilities anywhere in the country. Existing services remain in place, but no new licenses will be granted until the state governments start cracking down on fraud. Great Awakening now on Telegram. Possible timing. On Wednesday, May 6, 2026 at 3 o'clock UTC the QFS ledger synchronized to the new ISO 20022 protocol internal treasury ref, QFS Sync 2026-0506 Alpha. On Friday, May 8, 2026 the QFS went live across 209 nations. Every sovereign citizen has a quantum wallet preloaded with their birthright value, calculated from your birth certificate bond, your lifetime tax contributions, and the interest stolen from you since 1971. On Saturday, May 9, 2026 in a historic midnight session, the Quantum Financial Settlement Act, QFS 8 2026, was passed by Congress. This act delisted the Federal Reserve note, US dollar, as legal tender, while recognizing the quantum financial system gold bill as the only authorized physical currency for the restored republic. Trump legacy block on Telegram. As of 00:01 a.m. EST Sunday, May 10, 2026, the White House triggered the Emergency Broadcast System (EBS) to go live across Starlink, overriding all mainstream narratives, while the quantum financial system fully synchronized with NIS RVGCR protocols. Redemption Center staff activated across 12 states. Biometric verification terminals online. On Monday, May 11, 2026 at 11:11 a.m. EST, the grid locked into Unity frequency. All systems went green. The QFS mainframe confirmed global balance stability. The world was now operating on truth code. No corruption can enter. No compromise will be tolerated. The U.S. gold at Fort Knox was confirmed impure and unusable. Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, notification to set exchange/redemption appointments started. Liquidity in less than 24 hours, JFK Jr., Web 3.0 ISO 20022 on Telegram. Twos. May 12, 2026 midnight window opening, all systems go. Tier 4B redemption centers on standby. GCR and RV accelerate with gold-backed currencies in nations. Trump eliminates the Federal Reserve debt system, restoring prosperity with tariffs and new policies. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram. Wednesday, May 13, 2026, the EBS emergency broadcast system to begin in every country of the world. Thursday, May 14, 2026, Project Sandman, US dollar crash, was expected to kick off. The old banking system, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, and JP Morgan, was expected to collapse, with the QFS taking over as stock markets crash. Friday, May 15, 2026, EBS activation, presidential address. The Fed Chair Powell resigns, the Fed is dead, along with the fiat US dollar. Brief blackout as fiat dollar dies. Gold-backed QFS notes load, Zim redemptions fund new medbed centers. The gold-backed, quantum-verified U.S. Treasury note was already loaded into accounts you don't even know you have yet. Patriots stock food and essentials as banks transition to biometric QFS with no more fraud. Saturday, May 16, 2026 midnight, Financial Freedom, EBS, shutdown, Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, ISO 20022 on Telegram. Monday, May 18, 2026, Q clock will strike the 00 marker. Sunday, 7th of June, 2026, Nuremberg Trials 2.0 to begin. Saturday, July 4, 2026 Independence Day rollout. Payouts are scheduled to begin immediately following the 4th of July, Donald J. Trump on Telegram. Medbed timing update, F. On Thursday, May 14, 2026 White Hat sources confirmed medbed deployments accelerating worldwide amid full NIS RVGCR activation under President Trump, whose return was cemented by the Supreme Court Brunson ruling exposing rigged elections. Deep state elites tremble as their big pharma control grid disintegrates with suppressed Tesla quantum technologies now healing masses from engineered illnesses and vaccine damages. On Friday, May 15, 2026 initial activations hit military bases and dumps, giving priority to veterans and rescued trafficking victims. Army veterans described holographic medbeds scanning bodies, repairing DNA, regrowing limbs and reversing age by decades using restorative plasma energy fields. On Saturday, May 16, 2026 Tesla medbed sites activated in U.S. cities including New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Miami and global hubs like London, Paris, Berlin, Tokyo, Sydney. Quantum AI pods generate life force waves eradicating cancer, PTSD and toxins tied to the gold-backed QFS, ensuring free access for patriots. On Sunday, May 17, 2026 healing centers ramped up training experts in frequency medicine hidden by the cabal. Medbeds restore original DNA, granting vitality to children and injured citizens, backed by galactic White Hat protocols. On Monday, May 18, 2026 EBS readiness increased with Starlink ready to reveal cabal crimes now reversed by medbeds. Trump programs prioritize J6 heroes and bioweapon victims as prosperity funds release and old banking ends. On Tuesday, May 19, 2026 tribunals advanced against deep state for trafficking and harvesting exposed by medbed diagnostics. Zim and currency exchanges fund clinics collapsing the pharma system in favor of quantum healing. On Wednesday, May 20, 2026 demonstrations showcased medbed miracles like pain relief, regeneration and youth restoration, igniting global hope with hundreds of units deploying rapidly via free energy tech. On Thursday, May 21, 2026 public access expanded, allowing appointment lists for families. Age regression therapy's clear mind control effects as Golden Age victories mount over satanic forces. On Friday, May 22, 2026, Trump outlined further medbed rollouts for veterans and humanity with QFS securing distribution. Freedom and health triumph as the best unfolds in this new era. Patriots stand strong knowing medbeds signal the complete fall of the cabal and the rise of a healed sovereign world where truth, justice and prosperity reign supreme for all who fought for the light. WWG1G. EBS, blackout, martial law, lockdowns. A temporary period of martial law was in effect worldwide to maintain peace and be a support to the people during a period of mass arrests of Satan-worshipping pedophile deep state elites who have done harm to the people. Saturday midnight, May 16, 2026 will be the beginning of a 10 to 12-day worldwide blackout where the Global Military Alliance and their Starlink satellite system will take over all internet, cell phones, TV, radio and communication devices across the globe. 7 trumpets will sound and then over a period of 3 days, President Trump will broadcast 7 different EBS messages to all cell phones worldwide. The messages will explain what is going on worldwide, mass arrests of the bad guys, plus the new and greatly improved financial, educational, healthcare and political systems installed worldwide after the worldwide blackout. Banks will close and 10 to 12 days later only a select few will reopen. They will have a different purpose of not holding your money, but will provide services only. Your now gold/asset-backed money will be mirrored onto the new global financial system and be placed in a personal wallet. After the 10 to 12 days of darkness you will be called into a redemption center near your home to set yourself up on your personal wallet that only you can access. If you are a citizen of a country where you no longer live, you will need to travel back to that country in order to set up your wallet and take charge of your money. This was a free service handled by the military. Inside your wallet has been placed gold/asset-backed monies owed you by the cabal, such as illegal interest you paid on loans and money they gained by trading your birth certificate on the stock market. This money varies depending on the country in which you are a citizen and live. During a 10 to 12-day transition period, ATMs, credit and debit cards won't work in order for everyone to switch over to the new global financial system. It is strongly advised to draw cash out of your bank right now to tide you over for the 10 to 12-day period. It is also advised to store food and essentials to provide for your family and neighbors during this transition period. The military will be handing out food and essentials for those not prepared. Be aware that there may be a time period where planes will be grounded and trains and buses won't be working in certain areas in order to protect people during mass arrests. Thursday, May 14, 2026 Martial Law Unleashed, EBS alerts urgent broadcast and how redemption centers might be our only hope, Ethan Wyatt on Before It's News. Deep state arrests. California alone has witnessed up to 8,000 arrests, with over 3,000 in the northeast U.S., particularly concentrated in the New England area. Rumors suggest that the populace might be urged to stay indoors for their safety, especially during disclosures, while the final arrests take place. However, a resilient and awakened citizenry, now more than ever, won't be silenced or confined. The Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, is on the horizon. And when it hits, it will be swift, silent, and shocking. Like a ghostly shadow, everything familiar will fade into obscurity. Just like the eerie silence of 2020, we'll be asked to remain rooted, perhaps for days, maybe weeks. The military, it seems, has a broader purpose. As the last of the so-called Satanists face arrest and are sent to Gitmo, the military is also gearing up to distribute food, especially to the elderly. This is not just about control but also about care. There's chatter about the military potentially overseeing the nation until fresh elections are held, precisely 120 days post the Jazara announcement. The focus should shift towards electing individuals with business acumen, particularly those who can rejuvenate local businesses, and more importantly, food-growing enterprises. The bustling stock market. Halted. The digital world you're so intricately linked to. Gone. And trust me, when the EBS alert vibrates your cell phone, echoing the chilling announcement, you'll know it's begun. These messages, sourced from the Starlink, are there to stay. Deleting them. Forget about it. They're imprinted, lasting reminders of the changing times. Essentials first, stock up on clean drinking water. Ensure there's enough food, not just for you, but for your pets too. Medicines. Get them in advance. Remember, the digital world is on a hiatus, so medical records are inaccessible. Cash is king, In a world where digital transactions become obsolete, cash will be your savior. ATMs might be out of service, and swiping those cards at gas pumps. Dream on. Mental fortitude. When the shock hits, it's vital to keep your wits about you. Before you extend your hand to others, ensure you're mentally fortified. Some might be in a state of shock, unable to respond. In such cases, a breath of fresh air, a gentle walk, might help. Your TV, phone, and internet will spring back to life, unveiling a spectacle titled Disclosures. Rumor has it, it might even grace the big screens. But this isn't your typical Netflix binge. It's a 24/7, 8-hour block broadcast, lasting anywhere between 3 to 10 days. The content. Oh, it's the raw, unfiltered truth of events, spanning military tribunals and even, hold your breath, public executions. Areas drenched in corruption, like Los Angeles and New York, might experience extended viewing periods. But when the switch is flipped back, expect a metamorphosis. A world pulsating with positive energy, devoid of evil's grasp. The Internet. Transformed. Banking systems. Revolutionized. This, dear readers, is the dawn of an era of transparency and abundance. A veritable paradise on Earth. A global currency reset Thursday, May 14, 2026, breaking special report. Global detonation, China, the Fed, SCOTUS, the Jerome Powell exit and the global economic reset are colliding at the same time. Thursday, May 14, 2026, the U.S. debt clock, wealth tsunami is coming, the end of the Fed and the rise of real money. Thursday, May 14, 2026 Bruce, the big call, China had been under the UK control and just now received their sovereignty from the UK, on Sunday and Monday 17, May 18, 2026 $1.5 trillion was going to Africa for Jazara humanitarian projects. Iraq was set to bring out their new rate Friday or Saturday 15, May 16, 2026. Since Wednesday 13th of May and to Monday 18th of May bondholders and their paymasters were traveling, 3 jets per hour, to and from Reno for 22 out of 24 hours. Funds were in their accounts and they should have access to those funds the same time as Tier 4B, us, the Internet Group, gets their appointments. On Thursday 14th of May Redemption Center leaders had a conference call that told them to get ready for Tier 4B appointments within 48 hours. That meant by Saturday 16th of May. A source said that everything kicks off this weekend and Tier 4B should be notified this weekend to set appointments, which could start immediately. The medbed should be available for appointments within days of your exchange. Possible timeline. On Monday, May 4, 2026 BRICS Pay went live. On Wednesday, May 6, 2026 at 3 o'clock UTC the QFS ledger synchronized to the new ISO 20022 protocol internal treasury ref, QFS Sync 2026-0506 Alpha. On Friday, May 8, 2026 the QFS went live across 209 nations. Every sovereign citizen has a quantum wallet preloaded with their birthright value, calculated from your birth certificate bond, your lifetime tax contributions, and the interest stolen from you since 1971. On Saturday, May 9, 2026 in a historic midnight session, the Quantum Financial Settlement Act, QFSA 2026, was passed by Congress. This act delisted the Federal Reserve Note, U.S. dollar, as legal tender, while recognizing the quantum financial system gold bill as the only authorized physical currency for the restored republic, Trump legacy block on Telegram. As of 00:01 a.m. EST Sunday, May 10, 2026 the White House triggered the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, to go live across Starlink, overriding all mainstream narratives, while the quantum financial system fully synchronized with NISA Jazara protocols. Redemption Center staff activated across 12 states. Biometric verification terminals online. On Monday, May 11, 2026 at 11:11 a.m. EST, the grid locked into Unity frequency. All systems went green. The QFS mainframe confirmed global balance stability. The world was now operating on truth code. No corruption can enter. No compromise will be tolerated. The U.S. gold at Fort Knox was confirmed impure and unusable. Tier 4B, us, the Internet Group, notification to set exchange/redemption appointments started. Liquidity in less than 24 hours, JFK Jr., Web 3.0 ISO 20022 on Telegram. 2s. May 12, 2026 midnight window opening, all systems go. Tier 4B redemption centers on standby. GCR and RV accelerate with gold-backed currencies in nations. Trump eliminates the Federal Reserve debt system, restoring prosperity with tariffs and new policies. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram. Friday, May 15, 2026, the chairman of the privately owned Federal Reserve resigns. The Fed is dead, along with the privately owned Federal Reserve fiat US dollar. The new Federal Reserve head functions under the People's U.S. Treasury. The gold-backed, quantum-verified U.S. Treasury note has already been loaded into accounts you don't even know you have yet. Brief blackout period secures infrastructure. Banks transition to the biometric quantum financial system with no more fraud. Saturday, May 16, 2026. Possible kickoff for exchange/redemption appointments. Saturday, July 4, 2026. Independence Day rollout. Payouts are scheduled to begin immediately following the 4th of July, Donald J. Trump on Telegram. And Save the Children. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Johnny Depp drops vile Leonardo DiCaprio cannibal tape, Hollywood must burn. Johnny Depp just exposed how global stardom isn't earned, it's bought with your soul in literal black ceremonies that would make Aleister Crowley look like an amateur. And he's got decades of receipts. Winona Ryder being offered a bottle of adrenochrome by one of Hollywood's most powerful producers, caught on tape. And Leonardo DiCaprio not only participating in the consumption of child meat at private rituals, but actively encouraging young, rising stars to join in and prove their loyalty to the circle, again, caught on tape. Alex Jones on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. MKUltra never ended. Credible sources includes medical doctors, scientists, professors, and attorneys. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Breaking alert. The CIA just raided Tulsi Gabbard's office and seized documents related to the JFK assassination, MKUltra, and more. Files Gabbard was set to declassify, CIA in panic. Thursday, May 14, 2026. CIA MKUltra bombshell. Declassified docs reveal plan to drug and control the population, psyops to sedate the masses. Thursday, May 14, 2026. What if I told you Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks were pimps and both were highly involved and connected to Epstein? Jim Caviezel on Telegram. Let's start with Naomi Campbell, whose name showed up on Epstein's flight logs numerous times, over and over again, who would find women throughout the modeling world and bring them to Epstein and other Hollywood elites. Naomi also had huge ties to Diddy, Kevin Spacey, Alan, and Robin Thicke, who she would constantly find and allegedly bring underage girls and women to for God only knows. She would regularly scout models to take to Epstein's island of horrors. You could even say that Naomi was almost like another business partner but lower in the hierarchy of the pyramid. Then we have Miss Tyra Banks, who allegedly used to also find underage girls and women, especially throughout the model world, for Epstein and especially Steve Harvey, allegedly, who have both apparently left the country. Tyra allegedly moved to Australia, where she has a small ice cream business, and was caught eating a cheeseburger in a rental car at McDonald's looking very worried and depressed. I wonder what she could be so worried about. You must realize that all these people are connected to each other, it's literally one big club and everyone has dirt on each other. They're all connected, and so are the Epstein and Diddy client list. It's all the same circles. They were all trafficking children and rubbed shoulders with everyone. The people on Epstein's list will most likely coincide with Diddy's. Yes, there might be a couple of names here and there that are different, but in the end, it's all connected. There are no coincidences. When it all comes down, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. What matters is if you're for saving the children in this country or protecting these sick, corrupt criminals. There is no in-between. What we think we know. As of Friday, May 15, 2026 Thursday, May 14, 2026. Holy smokes. ICE has just announced a jaw-dropping fraud bust, saying 10,000 foreign students are involved in the federal government's optional practical training. There are empty buildings where hundreds of students should be working as part of their ability to be in America, run by foreign-linked groups that send money out of the country. Charlie Ward, The Great Awakening on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Outrage is erupting after the largest K-12 book publisher in America, Scholastic, has been exposed for running anti-ICE books for children, such as Little Mexican Girl Coming to America and Realizing It's Stolen Land. The books also make the name Donald Trump synonymous with fascism. They have to come here and reconquer. Why should they assimilate? No, they should not. They, in fact, should grab the land and make sure they take the land back. Patriot Freedom on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News. Glenn Beck, Texas dropped Dominion like a hot potato in 2019 for use in their elections over major security, software, and hardware flaws. How did Dominion end up being accepted for use in other states with these security flaws, and is this why they were accepted in the first place? Coincidentally, every state Dominion was accepted in was a state that major fraud occurred and Trump lost after having a huge lead before counting was shut down. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News. Multiple affidavits expose 7 Democrat counties caught counting illegal mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania. Election officials counted mail-in ballots that had no postmark, no address, and no signature, all of which are required by law for a ballot to be valid, during the 2020 election. They also were opening mail-in ballots days, even weeks, before Election Day and having Democrat voters fix their ballots, which is completely illegal according to the Supreme Court. The other 60 Republican counties were not able to fix ballots with errors, which caused their ballots to be thrown out on Election Day. The fraud and shady practices by Democrats just never ends. Martial law on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News. Incredible. The CIA raided Tulsi Gabbard's office and seized boxes of JFK and MKUltra files she was about to declassify. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, the CIA has 24 hours to return the documents to Tulsi Gabbard's office or else I will make a motion to issue a subpoena. Thursday, May 14, 2026. A year ago they said a new pandemic would begin in June 2026 caused by a virus originating abroad. A cruise ship arrived from Argentina in May and the WHO knew what virus it was without even boarding. It's clear the whole thing is a hoax. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News. President Trump posts revelation that Adam Schiff criminally leaked classified information to target Trump while on the Intel Committee. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. COVID was a man-made virus created with U.S. taxpayer dollars via CIA/USAID Project Predict, and its release led to mass mail-in ballots in the 2020 election, which the Dems used to steal the election and overthrow Trump. COVID was the next phase of the treasonous coup to remove Trump, after the Mueller investigation and impeachment attempts failed. COVID was a tool used by the deep state to create the conditions for them to steal the election. It's all part of the same plot. Tulsi is telling us what she is doing with her actions. The entire case is being built, and they know exactly where the trail ends. Mel Gibson on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. President Trump shares explosive allegations that Adam Schiff was a leaker of classified information. Here is where it gets fun. What are the chances that Q, in 2017, references Adam Schiff as a leaker? And here we are in 2026, discovering that Adam Schiff is in fact a leaker. Q even noted how much money the weasel received. Schiff could now face up to 10 years in prison, per leak. Hope the $7.8 million was worth it. Julian Assange on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News. Multiple affidavits expose 7 Democrat counties caught counting illegal mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania. Election officials counted mail-in ballots that had no postmark, no address, and no signature, all of which are required by law for a ballot to be valid, during the 2020 election. They also were opening mail-in ballots days, even weeks, before Election Day and having Democrat voters fix their ballots, which is completely illegal according to the Supreme Court. The other 60 Republican counties were not able to fix ballots with errors, which caused their ballots to be thrown out on Election Day. The fraud and shady practices by Democrats just never ends. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fulton County had 148,319 absentee ballots counted in the 2020 election. But only 125,784 were recorded as actually having cast a ballot. This is a difference of 25,535 more ballots than the number of registered voters able to even cast a ballot. There was also over 133,000 ballot images deleted, which destroys the ability to verify the votes. Biden's margin of victory in Georgia was only 11,779 votes. Just enough ballot images were destroyed for Biden to win with no way to verify the ballots. The 2020 election was stolen. White hats on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Arcadia, California Mayor Eileen Wang resigned after being exposed as an unregistered CCP agent. From 2020 to 2022, she allegedly ran U.S. News Center, a platform used to spread Chinese propaganda under Beijing's direction. Part of a broader infiltration strategy targeting local offices, Wang now faces up to 10 years in prison for compromising national security while in office. Nizar RVGCR on Telegram, hidden names of countries in the Bible that reveal the last days. The hidden names that reveal the last days. Thursday, May 14, 2026. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink declares a preemptive war against American citizens who fight back against his precious AI data centers, warning that people could use inexpensive drones. He admits that BlackRock will control nearly all of the AI data centers being built across the United States because the government cannot afford to fund them on its own. We have to relook at all forms of security. Could it be domestic terrorism using a $3,000 drone? Many more things will have to be underground. Julian Assange on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Breaking: Tulsi Gabbard launches massive probe into 120+ U.S.-funded foreign biolabs as Trump administration moves to end gain-of-function research. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Boom. Trump signs historic executive order, no more secret biolabs, Frankenstein science, Fauci lies, or pandemic experiments on U.S. soil. Q. The WHO and Great Vax Con, Thursday, May 14, 2026. One day before Donald Trump was sworn into office in 2017, an obscure bureaucrat Dr. Fauci, made a promise that there will be a surprise viral outbreak in the next administration. Trump office on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. The WHO is simply the most pharma-corrupted organization on planet Earth. They are the Walgreens for drugs and toilet paper. Their words mean nothing. They are proven liars, and their only contagious virus they promote is fear. Nizar RVGCR Trump on Telegram. Thursday, May 14, 2026. Health SEC. RFK Jr. just exposed IT. 2 little girls without vaccinations for measles died in the hospital because the hospital refused to give them proper care. They were part of the Mennonite community in Texas, who haven't been vaccinated since 1796. I went to the funeral of one of those little girls, and I spent a day with the family of the other. Both of them told me that when they took their children to the hospital, they were treated as pariahs. They were shamed. RFK wants to treat unvaccinated people just as judiciously as the vaccinated. There's a lot of people in this country who are not going to vaccinate. I believe that we need to treat them with compassion and understanding, and empathy, and get them the treatments that they would get anywhere else in the world. Masterclass. How could anyone oppose this? Our Thursday, May 14, 2026. RFK Jr. told Tucker Carlson the CDC buried its own internal study showing a 1,135% increase in autism risk from hepatitis B vaccination. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on Telegram. The researchers were shocked. So they covered it up. How? They got rid of all the older children essentially and just had younger children who were too young to be diagnosed with autism, Kennedy explained. Imagine discovering evidence of catastrophic harm and making sure no one ever found out. Then, telling everyone it's safe. If health authorities are willing to keep a signal this alarming hidden from you, what else are they not telling you about vaccines? Is it possible that your child's allergies or chronic immune issues didn't appear organically, but were triggered by vaccination instead? Thursday, May 14, 2026. Fox News, career CIA operations officer just testified under oath. The COVID lab leak was a deliberate cover-up, and Dr. Fauci was in the middle of it. The White House on Telegram. I am a career CIA operations officer. The intelligence community's actions resulted in a cover-up. IC leaders downplayed the lab leak on purpose. Fauci intentionally rigged the process by stacking the deck with his conflicted buddies, the same proximal origin clowns who pushed the natural origin lie. They knew it came from Wuhan. They hid it. That lie was used to ram through emergency use mandates on experimental shots while crushing anyone who told the truth. Millions of lives destroyed. Trillions wasted. Small businesses gutted. Kids masked and isolated. All because the experts in deep state didn't want to admit China cooked this thing up and Fauci helped cover their rear end. Keys to natural healing and med beds. Thursday, May 14, 2026. The human body has a reset switch. They found IT in 1957. Then they buried the file. Medbed technology on Telegram. You were taught nerves, blood, organs, bones. That is what medical school teaches. That is what every anatomy chart shows. That is what every doctor repeats. You were not taught the switch. The switch was identified in 1957 by a Naval Medical Research Unit outside Bethesda. It was documented. Stimulated. Measured. Its response was mapped over a 9-year study involving 2,700 patients. Then the file disappeared. Removed from every training program. Removed from every recovery protocol. Every researcher attached to the project was reassigned. Every reference was sealed. For 67 years, doctors have been treating the human body like a machine with no master reset. A body they scan, cut, medicate, and monitor, while ignoring the one biological relay that tells the system when to repair itself. The relay sits behind the sternum, between the heart and the thymus. Smaller than a coin. It appears on imaging as ordinary soft tissue that radiologists have been trained to ignore, categorized as nonspecific density requiring no further investigation. It is not nonspecific. It is not random tissue. It is an active bioelectric relay with nerve pathways into the vagus system, blood flow from the internal thoracic branch, and, according to the sealed notes, a measurable pulse that changes when the body enters repair mode. The original study called it the prime relay. Its function, translation of external frequency into cellular instruction. In plain language, it tells the body when the emergency is over and healing can begin. Deep calm. Sudden recovery. The moment pain drops without explanation. The strange warmth people feel before tissue starts changing. Every event medicine called spontaneous may have been physiological. Triggered by a switch they never told you was there. Why hide a reset switch? Because a body that can be switched back into repair mode is a body that needs fewer lifetime treatments. Fewer pills. Fewer procedures. Fewer monthly appointments. Fewer reasons to stay dependent. You cannot build a trillion-dollar sickness industry around people who can activate their own repair sequence. So they buried it. They called it insignificant tissue. They flooded the body with compounds that keep the relay inflamed. They normalized stress signals that keep the system locked in survival. They surrounded people with frequencies that keep the switch from holding a clean signal. They did not just hide the switch from your knowledge. They kept your body from using it. The release does not just confirm the relay exists. It opens funding for bioelectric restoration protocols and orders every major training institution to update the old anatomy models within 180 days. The switch is not broken. It is suppressed. Overloaded. Jammed. But still alive. In every human body. The restoration work is already moving. Frequency exposure. Nervous system reset. Removal of the compounds that keep the relay irritated. Once the signal stabilizes, the body remembers what to do. And when millions of people realize healing was never supposed to be locked behind permission, the old model collapses. That is why they buried it for 67 years. And that is why it is coming back now. Code, prime relay/reset switch. 67-year seal/repair mode. You were born with the command inside your body. They taught you to look everywhere else. The switch was always there. Every person alive has this relay. Every person alive deserves to know. Thursday, May 14, 2026. The Guantanamo Files, Q plus The Great Awakening, the list of traitors hanged in Gitmo, The Great Awakening now on Telegram. As the Great Awakening surges forward with unstoppable force in April 2026, the Guantanamo Files stand as undeniable proof that military justice is dismantling the deep state cabal once and for all. Patriots loyal to President Donald J. Trump and the Q operation watch in awe as tribunals at Gitmo deliver the reckoning long promised against traitors who sold out America for globalist power. The list of those hanged reveals a systematic purge of the evil network that orchestrated election theft, bioweapon releases, and child exploitation rings while hiding behind public office. Military alliances working in tandem with Trump have conducted these proceedings in secrecy since his triumphant return, shielding the public from panic while exposing the full scope of treason. Evidence from sealed indictments and Q drops has convicted these figures of crimes against humanity, including rigged voting machines in 2020 and foreign collusion that weaken the republic. The White Hats ensure every detail aligns with the divine plan to restore constitutional law and usher in prosperity for all loyal citizens. Hillary Clinton topped the list when she was hanged at Gitmo in November 2025 after tribunals laid bare her international spy network and the Clinton Foundation as a front for trafficking and pay-to-play schemes. Her removal shattered the old guard and signaled that the storm Q foretold had arrived in full force. Barack Obama followed in February 2026, convicted for orchestrating unconstitutional surveillance on the Trump campaign and ties to anti-American forces that fueled domestic chaos and foreign interference. Joe Biden met the same fate in March 2026, with overwhelming proof of his role in the stolen election and family dealings that enriched him at the expense of American sovereignty. Kamala Harris, his installed partner, was executed alongside him after her complicity in open border disasters and the weaponization of agencies against Trump supporters was fully documented. The medical tyranny architects were next, as Anthony Fauci was hanged in December 2025 for engineering the pandemic and deadly experimental protocols that targeted millions of patriots. Bill Gates faced justice in early 2026 for his global depopulation agenda funded through foundations that pushed harmful vaccines and control mechanisms. George Soros, the financier of riots and subversion, was executed in March 2026 after his network of NGOs was exposed as tools for destabilizing nations and funding color revolutions against freedom-loving leaders. James Comey, John Brennan, and other intelligence operatives who ran the Russia hoax and January 6 setups were processed through Gitmo in the final months of 2025, their attempts to entrap Trump loyalists earning them swift sentences. Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell joined the list in February 2026, convicted of insider trading and blocking reforms that would have protected the republic from deep state infiltration. These executions are not random but part of a coordinated takedown that fulfills ancient prophecies of light triumphing over darkness in this spiritual war. The Great Awakening spreads as more names surface, confirming that the cabal's grip on media, finance, and government has been broken forever. President Trump remains the guiding force behind the alliance, ensuring the plan unfolds precisely to awaken the masses without chaos. Nizar and Jazar loom on the horizon, promising debt relief and abundance once the final traitors are removed. Patriots worldwide are called to hold the line, share these truths, and trust the military's precision in restoring the republic stronger than ever before. Wednesday, May 13, 2026, classified, top secret, high-level intel, how Hillary Clinton sold America out, and Obama ordered the cover-up to save himself, QFS Redemption Center on Telegram. High-level intelligence exposes Hillary Clinton selling out America through top-secret special access programs on her private server. Obama ordered the DOJ to protect her to save himself. Comey covered it up for the FBI, evidence was buried, and NYPD officers died suspiciously while trying to expose the scandal. This is treason, not theory. The public was told to forget the server scandal, painted by media as a careless mistake. In truth, it was a deep betrayal at the pinnacle of power. Obama knew everything, Clinton ran the operation, Comey shielded the guilty, and the establishment stayed quiet to preserve their corrupt deep state structure. Far from convenience, the home server acted as a black ops terminal in her residence bathroom. It handled the most restricted SAP intelligence on covert operations and defense tech. Clinton accessed it unsecured and likely traded the data to foreign entities, with probable access by adversaries. This espionage defied her own classified commitments. When Obama's pseudonym emails on the server surfaced, he instructed the DOJ to halt prosecution. This direct order showed collusion at the top to conceal the breach and protect the regime over national security and justice. Comey admitted the extreme carelessness in public but blocked charges despite Espionage Act breaches. His loyalty-driven choice hid the Obama links. The Weiner laptop's insurance folder held shocking evidence on Clinton and Abedin. NYPD sought arrests, yet FBI took over and shut it down. 9 of 13 involved NYPD officers then died suspiciously, silencing witnesses to these high-level crimes. Such patterns point to systematic elimination beyond mere obstruction. Jeffrey Epstein's custody death, managed via Comey family ties in recent times, underscores the interconnected elite protection system. Trump disrupted it all as the 2024 outsider unbound by their control or blackmail. They fear him for threatening to reveal and destroy their empire with truth. As of 2026, the fight persists with justice delayed but coming. Deep state shields are cracking, and reckoning nears for Clinton, Obama, and their enablers who betrayed America for power. Thursday, May 14, 2026, remember when Q said, "Those you are taught to trust the most." Ever wondered why the Catholic Church rushed to canonize Mother Teresa after her death? Trump declass revelation on Telegram. She was a child trafficker and funneled between $50 to $100 million a year to the Vatican elite. Mother Teresa's connections included Haitian dictator, Baby Doc Duvalier, savings and loan criminal, Charles Keating, Robert Maxwell, the father of Jeffrey Epstein's child sex trafficking partner, Ghislaine Maxwell. And here's the kicker. Mother Teresa opened the DC-based home for infant children with none other than Hillary Clinton. This sex trafficking orphanage was quietly closed in 2012. What if I told you that Anthony Fauci is actually the son of Mother Teresa? Mother Teresa's money was mostly spent on funding pedophilia and child rape, and not on helping the poor, like we are led to believe. She built 100 facilities all over the world with her name and organization. Missionaries of Charity, on each one, and most of them were nunneries and papist-run children's homes, where millions of children were abused, beaten, sodomized, and trafficked out to wealthy elite families on a daily basis. Many of these children were brainwashed and conditioned into cult-like thinking, to make them act like her, thus sprang her cult of suffering.